There's something subtle yet insistent about how our bodies communicate with us, especially as we grow older. For many seniors, discomfort in the legs after a short walk is chalked up to aging, shrugged off with phrases like, "just getting old." But let me gently challenge that belief. Pain, heaviness, or cramping in the legs isn't something we should accept as normal. These sensations are messages, not from the mind, but from the body itself, asking for attention, for care, for nourishment. As we age, the efficiency of our circulation often declines. Blood vessels lose elasticity, and blood flow slows. Muscles, particularly those in the legs, begin to receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients. It's not age itself that weakens our legs, but the gradual reduction in support, a process we often overlook until symptoms become loud enough to interfere with daily life. Why the legs? Simply put, they carry the full weight of our bodies, every day. Whether standing in the kitchen, walking to the mailbox, or climbing stairs, our legs work tirelessly. And when they start to feel heavy, burn after minimal effort, or twitch with cramps at night, it's often a sign of an internal deficiency, especially in circulation and muscle nourishment. The encouraging news is that the body responds quickly to the right support. Food is not just sustenance, it can be medicine too. With the right choices, we can ease discomfort, restore strength, and even regain a lightness in our step that we may have thought was lost. We'll be exploring 4 foods that play a special role in restoring leg health. Not pills, not procedures, but real, natural foods that support circulation, reduce inflammation, and bring vitality back to tired muscles. The first of these is an often overlooked vegetable that's probably already sitting in your fridge or pantry: beetroot. Beets are more than their humble appearance suggests. Beneath that earthy skin lies a powerhouse of benefits, specifically tuned to the needs of aging legs. They enhance blood flow, deliver oxygen to tired muscles, and help calm inflammation from the inside out. And no, you don't need to become a gourmet chef or follow complicated recipes to feel the difference. In the next section, we'll look more closely at how beets work within the body and why their effects can be so powerful, especially for older adults. It's not about trends or superfoods. It's about understanding what your body needs and giving it the care it has earned over the years. Deeply pigmented antioxidants that give beets their vibrant color and their healing touch. These substances actively fight inflammation, the slow-burning fire that can weaken muscles and joints over time. Chronic inflammation often hides beneath the surface, not always causing swelling or redness, but still quietly damaging tissue and deepening pain. By reducing this hidden inflammation, betalains help restore the natural function of the legs. Muscles that once felt stiff or sore become more pliable and cooperative. Walking feels less like a chore and more like an invitation. It's as if the body is finally able to exhale after years of silent strain. Beets also play a surprising role in regulating blood pressure. For many older adults, high blood pressure goes hand in hand with leg discomfort, adding pressure on veins and decreasing nutrient flow. By helping to relax the blood vessels, nitric oxide from beets can gently lower blood pressure, protecting not only the legs, but the heart as well. Think of beets as a kind of fuel additive, not flashy, but powerful. They don't just fill you up, they tune your system for better performance. When incorporated regularly into the diet, their effects build slowly but steadily, creating a foundation of strength and resilience. In the next part, we'll meet someone whose life changed with the help of this humble root, and learn how to use it in ways that are both simple and effective. Because food, when chosen wisely, can be the most caring form of medicine. John had always been an active man. In his younger years, he walked to work, tended his garden every weekend, and rarely missed his morning stroll through the neighborhood. But at 71, things began to change. A short walk to the corner store left him breathless. His legs felt heavy, and a strange burning sensation would creep into his calves after only a few minutes. At first, he brushed it off. "Just age catching up," he muttered. But deep down, he knew something wasn't right. It was his daughter, Emily, who noticed how often he sat down to rest. One afternoon, after he canceled a walk with his grandson, she gently brought it up. "Dad, maybe your legs are trying to tell you something." That evening, she read about the benefits of beets and their impact on blood flow and muscle strength, particularly in older adults. The next day, she arrived with a bottle of organic beet juice. Skeptical but willing, John began drinking a small glass each morning. Just 200 missing. Oxygen, circulation, and a chance to repair. That small change became part of a bigger routine. He began adding cooked beets to his dinner, slicing them into salads, blending them into morning smoothies. Emily even baked beet muffins, which became a weekend treat. For those considering beets, the most potent form is fresh juice, made by blending raw beets with a splash of water or apple for taste. If that's not convenient, roasted or boiled, beets still carry valuable nutrients. What matters most is regularity, not how gourmet the preparation is, that simmers beneath the surface. Unlike the sharp pain of injury, this inflammation doesn't always announce itself clearly. It builds over time, breaking down muscle tissue, stiffening blood vessels, and making every step feel a little heavier than the last. One of the most effective ways to calm this hidden fire comes from the ocean. Salmon. Rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, salmon is more than just a healthy protein. It's a natural anti-inflammatory agent, nourishing the body in ways that pills often can't. For older adults, whose bodies often exist in a state of low-grade inflammation, omega-3s provide a kind of internal relief, easing tension in the muscles and supporting overall mobility. Research supports this power. In studies of aging adults, regular consumption of omega-3s was linked to reduced joint pain, greater flexibility, and quicker recovery after physical effort. Unlike over-the-counter painkillers, which mask symptoms temporarily, omega-3s help address the root of discomfort. They work within the cells, softening blood vessel linings, improving circulation, and encouraging the body's natural healing processes. Salmon is also gentle on digestion and versatile in the kitchen. A simple fillet, grilled or baked with a bit of lemon and herbs, can become both comfort food and therapy. It doesn't require a special occasion or gourmet touch. Just a commitment to feeding the body with what it truly needs. For Mary, 75, chronic stiffness in her legs had made morning walks difficult. Her physical therapist suggested adding salmon to her diet. At first, she was hesitant. Fish hadn't been part of her usual meals, but she tried once a week, then twice. Within a month, she felt a noticeable difference. Her knees bent more easily, and stairs became less daunting. Among the many benefits of salmon, there's one that often hides in the background: vitamin D. While it's mostly associated with sunshine, this vitamin plays a central role in how our legs feel and function, especially in older age. It's not just about bones, though that's a big part of it. Vitamin D influences muscle strength, balance, coordination, and even how confident we feel when we move. As we age, our ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight declines. Add to that less time spent outdoors and long winters, and it's easy to understand why about half of all seniors are deficient, often without even knowing it. This quiet lack doesn't scream for attention, but it whispers in the form of weak muscles, poor posture, unsteady gait, and, most dangerously, a greater risk of falling. Salmon, especially wild-caught, is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin D. A single serving can provide more than half the daily requirement, helping to close the gap without the need for pills. And unlike many fortified foods, the nutrients in salmon come in their natural form, easier for the body to absorb and use effectively. Take Martha, for example, a 69-year-old retired teacher. She had begun avoiding walks, blaming her sore knees and a general feeling of instability. Her doctor ran some tests and found her vitamin D levels were quite low. Rather than prescribe supplements immediately, he encouraged her to adjust her diet. Together with her daughter, Martha started incorporating wild salmon into her meals twice a week, preparing it with simple herbs and steamed vegetables. 3 weeks later, she felt a lightness in her legs she hadn't noticed in years. Her posture improved, and she even began walking with a neighbor again. "It wasn't just physical," she said. "I felt steadier, more sure of myself." For those who don't enjoy fresh fish, alternatives exist. Canned salmon, smoked salmon, or even salmon in pasta or soups. The key is consistency, and if fish truly isn't an option, a doctor can recommend a high-quality supplement. But food, when possible, should always be the first medicine. We often focus on what we can no longer do as we get older. But small adjustments, like adding salmon, can quietly restore what was missing. In the next part, we'll turn from the sea to the garden and explore a leafy green that gives legs not only strength, but endurance. Because good health is built in layers, one thoughtful bite at a time. If beets help the blood flow and salmon calms inflammation, then spinach quietly supports something just as vital: the strength and resilience of your muscles. Often seen as just a garnish or a side dish, spinach is, in truth, a deeply nourishing food, especially for aging legs that tire easily or cramp at night. One of its most powerful gifts is magnesium, a mineral many older adults unknowingly lack. Magnesium is essential for muscle contraction and relaxation. When levels are low, muscles can become tense, irritable, or prone to spasms. That sudden cramp in the calf during the night? It's often The benefits aren't just theoretical. In one study, seniors with higher magnesium intake experienced fewer falls and greater mobility. Their muscles reacted more promptly, their steps became more stable, and their energy levels remained more consistent throughout the day. Walter, a 73-year-old former construction worker, had nearly given up on walks. His legs felt weak, and the cramps kept him up at night. At the suggestion of his physiotherapist, he started adding spinach to his breakfast, first in omelets, then blended into smoothies, and later as a warm side with dinner. Within 2 weeks, the nightly cramps began to fade. After a month, he felt strong enough to join a low-impact exercise group at the community center. What makes spinach especially practical is its flexibility. It can be eaten raw in salads, gently sautéed with olive oil and garlic, stirred into soups, or even used in baking. Fresh, frozen, or canned, its nutrients remain potent, and because it's soft and mild in flavor, it pairs well with nearly anything. Spinach isn't flashy, but in its quiet way, it helps restore the muscle tone and confidence that aging often threatens to steal. And as we'll see in the final part of this journey, that's important for muscles, especially the ones in our legs that work hardest to keep us moving. But bananas are also relatively low in magnesium. This imbalance, if not addressed, may limit their effectiveness in preventing leg cramps and fatigue. Additionally, bananas have a high glycemic index, meaning they can cause a rapid rise in blood sugar if eaten alone, especially on an empty stomach. For some, this sugar spike is followed by a crash, leaving the body tired and the legs heavy. But there's a simple solution. Pair the banana with foods that offer protein and healthy fats. This slows down digestion, keeps blood sugar steady, and enhances nutrient absorption. Take Grace, 67, who had been eating a banana every night, hoping to stop the cramps that interrupted her sleep. But the problem persisted. Her doctor suggested she pair it with almonds and a sprinkle of cinnamon. That night, she had a banana with a spoonful of peanut butter on whole grain toast. 2 weeks later, the nighttime cramps had nearly disappeared. She was astonished. The fruit she loved wasn't the issue, but how she was eating it. This approach turns a simple snack into a complete support system. Adding yogurt, nuts, seeds, or a slice of cheese balances the sugar and boosts nourishing choices. And often, those choices are already in our kitchen, waiting to be used with care.